Shalom Mishpacha. Today we're having a somewhat advanced lesson and we're going to look in Tanakh, Torah. We're going to look in the Zohar, a little bit in Book of Dragons. We're going to do a whole lot of gematria on the word patterns, because, let us start here. In Exodus 25, right, Shemot, verse 9, it starts, like everything that I show you, the form of the tabernacle and the form of all its vessels, Sephirot, right? This word for form, tavnit, which is b'nei, between two tavs. Tav is the hand of God, b'nei is the children. Okay, but the famous verse that the Zohar will allude to is found here. It's a permutation, be tavnitam, and it translates as see and make according to the forms, it's pattern really, that you are shown on the mountain. If you read it in the Pshat, you think it's, you might think they will go camping or something. That's not what it says. And Zohar makes it very clear. So after this we'll go to Zohar. Here in 1 Chronicles 28, verse 19, it says, everything is in writing by the hand of Hashem, which he gave me, understanding to know all the works of the plan. And we see it here again. Ha tavnit. Okay? Malakut, which is a malchut. Okay? Malchut with an aleph. And by the hands, right? And you see the hands here. Tav, tav. Right hand, left hand, and the children in the middle thereof. Alluding to Bnei Moshe. Okay, so we'll come across the Torah of Moshe, many interesting things. I have it here, the pattern of Moshe. Let's go there. It is in Zohar book 13 of the Kabbalah Center, Pikudei, and it starts on page 15, verse 15, chapter number 4. Here it says, Betavnitam, again, right? 2 times. Come and see, when the Holy One, blessed be he, told Moshe to construct the tabernacle, Moses was dumbfounded, for he did not know what to do, until the Holy One, blessed be he, showed him how it looked. As it is written, and look that you make them after their pattern, which was shown to you on the mountain, in the mountain. The meaning of after their pattern is, as we learned, that the Holy One, blessed be he, showed Moshe the supernal form of each thing, and each one shaped itself to earth, to the form made on earth. I have to make it still pink there. 16. It should have been written which you see instead of which was shown to you. We learned that the mirror which does not shine showed him within it all the wheels and shapes made below, like a mirror reflecting within itself every image, because Moshe was the only one with a polished lens. Okay, so Aspaklaria Metzuchtzachat, shining mirror. Here we see an ilanot. If you are interested in these patterns, right? Because the Torah is timeless, right? If you start understanding Torah by the teachings, then you will know, this is from 1691 in Munich made, that each and every generation has Moshe to it, okay? And just like now, we're in a very special time. This sefer is a must-have, the Kabbalah tree, the Kabbalistic tree. It's full of ilanot, okay? Patterns. More patterns, right? Moshe is here in each and every generation. It also writes that every Jew needs to make a Torah scroll, okay? And this one's by the master himself. Because, like you see in the book, the Kabbalah tree, there were always those who made ilanot according to these patterns, right? Because we have written Torah, we have oral Torah, and the pattern is needed in order to be able to make sense of the combination thereof, to combine everything. Okay, so this is what Hashem, I should say, was discussing with Moshe. So there's written Torah, of course, Tiferes, right? Let's make the whole tree. Keter, Chochmah, Bina, Chesed, Gevura, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, and Malchut. Written Torah, oral Torah, and the patterns are an overlay to make sense of it, right? Very important. Without these patterns, there is no proper understanding. Okay, so let us treat the word we just had. We'll start with the root word thereof, which was tavnit, right? Tavnit. And that are two tas, two hands. We just read it, the works of the hands of God, right? And then Bnei Israel. Okay, Bnei sits in between the two hands. Okay, so that's what you already see immediately, and the value here of is 4 and 4, and Bnei is 62. So that is 862. Okay, 862, and 862 is an interesting number. If you divide it by 2. You have an inkolel to nefesh or to harai mehemna or to yirahari, say hasoid Moshe, many things. But you can also say that the highest light fell the lowest. And as we speak of Moshe, who returns in each and every generation, but at some point in time will have the level of harai mehemna, which is Melech HaMashiach. Then you speak of 432 is the value of Harai Mehemna, the faithful shepherd, living with 430, making a total of 826, 862, and 430 Nefesh is the lower soul level, and alludes also to Malchut and Asiya. So the highest light fell the lowest, right? So the faithful shepherd who descends all the way down to collect the sparks and to show these patterns and to unite, to help the people who are willing not to forsake their mother's Torah, okay? Do not forsake your mother's Torah. So let us proceed. We also saw the version where it says housing this pattern, right? So housing the pattern would then be, and one more thing before I forget it, tutas is also a short for Tiferes. Written Torah, Israel, center of Serampin, right? Center of Serampin. So that's also found in there. And it's 2 times 22, right? So the letters, the Aleph Tav. we're going to do the permutation. So if I now connect the base to it, you have 864. So now it's 864 in value. And the ordinal value is 72. Interesting, because that is Av. And Av is Yud, He, Viv, He, and has not been manifest yet. But Harai Memna is the one that provides those with the Ibur, the soul level, Vatsil, Chaya. Okay? And that is part of the establishment of the 72 name. Okay. I cannot go too deep. We have way too much to deal, but this 864 is interesting because 864 is exactly 4 times 216. And 216, the scroll I just showed you by Yerahari, is the value of Yerah, awe, which is the first and foremost precept. One who is in awe fulfills the whole law. One who is not in awe fulfills none of the law. Re'e Yud, to see Yud. Yud equals Chochmah, Atzilut, and the 72 name, Av. Okay? Av. Ayin base, 72, Chochmah. Okay? Rashid, the beginning. Yirah, Yirat Hashem, Reishis Chochmah. Awe is the beginning of wisdom, true wisdom. Okay, so why 4 times? Because we have 4 oilamot. Okay, so we have the world of Atzilus, we have the world of Beria, we have the world of Yetzira, and we have the world of Asiya. Okay, this is one of the ways we can show that, and then that would be Yud, tip of the Yud, base of the Yud, Hey, Vav, and lower Hey. Okay, also connected to the Oilamot. So throughout 4 worlds, okay. So that's found there in the value. Because the highest light fell the lowest. Atzil, Beria, Yetzira, and Asiya. Okay. This place, Asiya, world of action. Now, the next interesting permutation that I had, let me see my notes. Yes, so this Nefesh also. Nefesh, already told you, it's 430. That's there, right? So that's the lowest, and that is the highest. Yerahari, Harai Mahema. Okay, motion each and every generation. Okay, so let's proceed. Spelling out of the permutation plainly without housing or other additional letters. That would then be Tav, Beit, Nun, Yud, and Tav. And that is 406, 20, 106, 412, 406. Makes a total of 1351 in Kollel. 1351. Okay, 1351 is exactly, approximately, it's 1350, but I'll show you why we have 1351, because 1351, first of all, I think I should mention that first, that is the value of Torah, Torah Moshe, the Torah of Moses, right? Torah Moshe, the Torah of Moshe. Remember, it was told him to do it according to the patterns that was shown to him. Written, oral, patterns, uniting, okay? To bring that to Bnei Israel, to the fallen state. And let us proceed 1351. So 1351 is also the half of the value of 2701. And 2701 is the full gematria value of the Bereshit 1 verse 1. Bereshit bara. Okay, so the whole verse in its totality is 2701. This is approximately half of it. Okay, so what else did I have on this value? If we take another strange number, so we have 1351. If you take 676, which is approximately half of that, and it is also the value of you shall uncover, you shall reveal, because this is really what it's about, right? To overlay these patterns and to teach according to these patterns is to reveal what is hidden within these various elements, right? You cannot understand through the written, and you cannot understand through the oral alone, but through these patterns that were given to and shown to Moshe, he can unveil, he can reveal. So a word for you shall uncover is ve'arat. Ve'arat. 400, 676. 676 is half of the Torah of Moshe, the value. If you do 676 times 1351, please feel free, take your calculator. I've calculated it and it is precise. You get 913,600. Almost 913,276. 913 is the value of the first word, Bereshit. Bereshit. Bereshit is 913, and 276 is a bunch of things. First of all, it's the value of Tzimtzum. It's the value of 7 evils, Zain Ra, because in a certain layer, there are 70 different layers to Torah, right? So in a certain layer thereof, it is about Zerampin, right? It's about Ima creating Zerampin, the 7 evils. The 6 I hate, the 7 are an abomination. Okay, but it has various layers. So it is also Kol Zakar, all the males. So it directs to all the males. And this is the male, right? This is the male, a cedar, because Zaire, it's also a seed. So there's various layers to there, but you see that this is not a random number. So to reveal the Torah, which is half the value of the Torah of Moshe. Okay? Because there's 2 halves to it. So I thought that was amazing. And so the Torah of Moshe shall uncover and shall uncover the various aspects to its true emes, to the Torah of Atzil, eventually. Okay, so let us proceed, because very interesting what happens in the moment you go to the Atbash. Let me see if this side is empty. No, it's not. No, I'll just do it here. I think it might just fit. So in the Atbash, yes, in the Atbash, the letters of Tavnit are Aleph, Shin, Tav, Tet, Mem, Aleph. And this is Tume, impurity, right? Unclean. And this is fire. Do not forsake your mother's Torah 7 days under the mother. Gesed, Gevuret, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, and Malchut, the 7th day. On the 8th day, Bina, the mother, a fire offering to Hashem. Okay? Fire to impurity. So that's, it's, and that's what we're doing. This is why you need to study your crown jewel. This is why you need to study Likutei Yira 9. This is why you need to sign up for school.com/Yira. Really, I'm telling you, there's no place. This is life-changing. There's only Yira who teaches this. There was only Moshe who had the patterns. Okay? The patterns. And of course, you see then the other Ilanot, like I have an Ilanot, and other disciples of Yira have Ilanot, but there's only one person who had access to it and who truly knows the secrets and who teaches it to the rest. And you can learn it also. And each and every single Jew needs to make his own Torah scroll. It's a commandment. So join school.com/Yira. YIRAH. Yira. Okay? So very important. And study your letters. Start with the letters. Everything at its time, but really there's nothing more useful to do here in this lobby where you are being tested to see if you are trapped within these cycles of nonsense. Tanking your car, riding around in circles each and every day to the same spot. Right? Pointlessly. To have some physical pleasure, which is a black hole, an unsaturated black hole in which everything disappears and it brings you nothing. So, follow Yira. Please follow Yira. And next permutation. One more thing here. Tavnit. So Tavnit in the triangular, and that's just a little space, so I won't write it down. That's a Tav, Tav base, Nun, Tav base, Nun, Yud, Tav base, Nun, Yud, Tav. If you calculate that in the ordinal value is 203, and 203 is the value of bara. Second word of Bereshit. Bereshit bara, but hinting at the creation because everything appeared through the patterns, right? We just read it in the Zohar, not the exact wording anymore, but it told us clearly that it's about everything that manifested in reality. So the creation is found throughout the patterns. Okay, so there are no coincidences. There's no such thing as a coincidence. And let us go to the next permutation, and definitely not the least, because in Kuzu, this was the Atbash cipher, right? The ash to me, so the fire to the impurity. In the Kuzu, it does the following. It gives us a Tav, because that's in the same spot, and then it gives us Rachel, right? One of the four mothers. And why one of the four mothers? Well, Rachel values 238 and is in Kolel 239. And 239 is the value of Bartzel. And then we'll go to the Book of Dragons just to see a tikkun by Master Yira. And Bartzel is Bila, Rachel, Zilpa, and Leah. There's a whole structure there. 4 mothers, 12 tribes, right? 4 fallen Mashiachim, 4 legs to the throne, the Shekhinah, right? Leah, Rachel, many constructs there is now hinted at through this permutation, right? 238 is also the value, namely, of Yira plus 22. So all through the letters, right? Yira 216 plus 22 is 238 also. So I know it's an incredible word, and there's way more, but that's to a level, another deep level that Yira is now currently teaching, which I will not expound upon, but this should suffice and show you that it's so profound, and that the glory of that His glory is in everything. It's just us who don't see it, right? We create all this nonsense because we don't see it. And by applying this and by working with these letters, studying these letters, start with the Aleph base. Aleph is 1, base is 2, base is house. Housing air, housing water, bubble. Okay, so all these things, there's many teachings. School.com/Yaira. It will change your life. It will change your life. Let us go to the Book of Dragons. Show you one tikkun there that alludes to this part. So, Sefer wrtitten, the Book of Dragons. This is not for starters, guys, and I won't elaborate on it in depth. But here starts on Bereshit chapter 1. He gives a complete explanation on all the words and all the verses. So here you see one of the patterns explained. This is a very important pattern here. And then you see Leah, right? Zilpa, Rachel and Bila. Within Zerampin. And you see all the words. Bereshit, Bara, Elokim, Et, Hashemayim, Va'et, Haaretz. Okay? So, now that the vessels in general have been revealed, we will reveal the lights. So, and that was what we read clearly, right? The vessels, the Sephirot, the structure, the patterns. So these are your patterns. These Ilanot have been made ever since, right? Each generation has Moshe, and each generation has disciples and followers of Moshe, and those who take seriously the mitzvah of each and every Jew having to make his own Torah scroll. It doesn't mean the plain writings in the Tanakh from A to Z. It means to study this and to put it down on paper. Okay. So I hope this was helpful. Many blessings, much love, until the next video.